Today we are discussing the new module, that is module 5. Module 5, that is what? Heat exchanger. Heat exchanger. Already related to this information, related to the definition, related to the classification, uh, some notes related to these things already I send by the WhatsApp, already I sent to you, send in the group. You go through that one, the definition, classification, as well as the notes, all those things I already sent that one. Now today we will going to study about the derivation. In the heat exchanger there are four derivations will becomes, try to understand, totally four derivations will be there in the heat exchanger. If you learn one derivation, the remaining three derivations are the one and the same thing. If you learn the one derivation, the remaining three derivation will be automatically you can solve that one. In the examination, any one of the derivation is the common question in all examination. Out of four derivation, one derivation is common in the examination. Keep it in mind what the first derivation I am doing right now, the same derivation will be helpful for doing for the second, doing for the third, and as well as the fourth one. Anyhow, before going into the derivation, once again briefly I am going to explain what is meant by the heat exchanger, all those things. Heat exchanger means it is a device. It is a device, nothing else. Heat exchanger means it is a device. In this device, what happens means heat exchange takes place. The name itself indicates the heat exchange takes place between two fluids. Heat exchanger means it is a device. In that, what will happen? There is an heat exchange takes place between two fluids at different temperatures. When they are the fluid at different temperatures, that one you going to call as an heat exchangers. The application of heat exchangers, the radiators, car radiators are a good application of an heat exchanger. Later, this heat exchanger also used in the power plants, steam power plants. Later, this is used in the refrigeration systems and also air conditioning systems. Okay, the heat exchanger plays a very important role in this in these systems. In car radiator, power station means steam power plants. Okay, in those conditions, those areas, the heat exchanger coming to the exchangers coming to the picture. Coming to the classification, the heat exchanger is classified depend upon the heat transfer process. First one is heat transfer process. Second one is depend upon the constructional features, and the third one constructional features, and the third one is depend upon the flow arrangement. The heat exchanger is classified mainly into these three common types, depend upon the heat transfer process, constructional features, and flow arrangement. In the heat transfer process there are two types: direct type heat transfer process and another is the indirect type heat transfer process. In constructional features means it is a tubular heat exchanger, tubular shell and tube heat exchanger. Later, finned tube heat exchanger. Later, compact heat exchangers. In the flow, come to the flow arrangement, there are three types. One is parallel flow, second one is counter flow, and the last one is cross flow. Parallel flow, counter flow, and cross flow. See, direct type means there is a direct contact between the two fluids. For example, if you take the chimneys, in the chimneys what happens? The hot gases are moving inside the chimneys. In the earthy top, there is a water sprayers will be there. Water spray will be happens. In that, what happens? This is the chilled water. This is the one fluid, and this hot air hot air is the second fluid. Here what happens, the fluid 1 and fluid 2, there is a direct contact between that one. That one is going to call as the direct contact type heat transfer. Okay. In the remaining, this constructional feature and flow arrangement, all these are the indirect type heat transfer process. Next come to the tubular. In the tubular heat exchanger means the name itself indicates it is a construct. There are two pipes, concentric pipes. There are two concentric pipes. This is the inner pipe and this is the outer pipe. Here one fluid is passing, fluid 1. Here fluid 2 is passing. Okay, there is no any contact between, try to understand, there is no any contact between the fluid 1 and fluid 2. So that one you're going to call as the indirect type of heat transfer. And suppose this is made up of a tubes, concentric tubes, then it is going to call as the tubular heat exchanger. In tubular heat exchanger there are two types, that is what, parallel flow, and the second is counter flow heat exchanger. Okay, now today we are going to discuss the derivation about the parallel flow heat exchanger only. Parallel flow and counter flow. Totally 4 derivations. Out of 4 derivations, 2 derivations I will discuss today, means in this class. Later, shell and tube heat exchanger, that one we will solve. The name itself indicates that there is a shell. There is a big shell, and inside there is a number of tubes will be there. In the tubes, the fluid 1 will be passes, in the tubes. In the shell side, another fluid will be passes, fluid 2. Commonly this type of heat exchangers are used in the power stations, steam power plant. That is why we are going to call as the shell and tube. Shell means it contains a big shell and it contains a number of tubes. In tubes, one fluid will be passing, just called as the fluid 1. In the shell side, the fluid 2 will be passing. There is no any contact between fluid 1 and fluid 2. See, in sometimes come to the radiator or any examples, the fluid 1 may be the oil. The oil is passing in the inside tube. Here there are two tubes will be there. This is the inside pipe and the outside pipe. This oil is to be cooled. You have to cool the oil. This is cooled by the chilled water. Okay, different fluids, sometimes we will use different fluids. Like in the inside pipe we are going to passing oil, and outside the pipe, in the outside pipe we are going to passing the chilled water. In some application both the fluids may be the same thing, that is depending upon the applications, but there is no any contact between the fluid 1 and the fluid 2. Likewise, the fin tube and compact tube heat exchangers will be given in the notes, and as well as the some videos I sent already. You just go through those videos. Now just coming to this one, consider this concentric tube heat exchanger. In that one you consider a concentric tube heat exchanger, a small pipe. This is an outside pipe. In the inside pipe, one fluid is passing, fluid 1. In the outside, another fluid is passing, that is fluid 2. Now you saw that one, the fluid 1 is passing from left to the right. In the same way, the fluid 2 is also passing from left to the right. So if both the fluids are moving in the same direction, that one you're going to call as the parallel flow heat exchanger. Suppose if you see in this direction, what you will almost it look like that one, the inside pipe and the outside pipe. The same thing I will write below here. This is the inside pipe thickness. This is the pipe thickness, inside pipe. This is the inside pipe, and this is the radii of the inside pipe, inside. This is the outer radius of the inside pipe. Try to Ri means radii of the inside pipe. R naught means radii of the outer radius inner pipe. Inner pipe, inner radius. R naught means inner pipe, outer radius. Outer radius. Now this pipe I just written here. Outside there is one more pipe will be there. One more pipe. This one is what? Capital letter Ri. Capital letter Ri means inner radius of the outer pipe. Outside pipe or outer pipe. Outer pipe. Inner radius of the outer pipe. And we don't consider the thickness of the outer pipe. Try to understand. We are not considering the thickness of the outer pipe because this one you considering as a completely insulation. Therefore, we not considered R naught for the calculation. The outside of the pipe is you going to consider as the complete insulation. There is no any heat loss. There is no any heat loss. So you having for the any calculation you have only the small letter Ri, capital letter a small letter Ri and R naught and capital letter Ri. Inner radius of the inner pipe, outer radius of the inner pipe. This one is inner radius of the outer pipe. There is no R naught. Capital R naught will be not taken because we are considering as the perfect insulation. There is no any heat loss. Okay. Inside the pipe, the fluid 1 is moving at different temperature. In the outside pipe, the fluid 2 is moving at different temperature. Now you consider only this one. I will consider only this area. This is what? Ri. This is what? Small letter R naught. Now we will write the thermal resistance what you write in the module 1. I will write the thermal resistance. This is the inner pipe. Always the inner pipe is always the inner pipe is made up of a good thermal conductivity. Good thermal conductivity should be a good. Example, copper tubes. Almost in heat exchangers, copper tube is commonly used. This is the K. This is the wall. In the inside of the pipe, inside of this here inner radius, the fluid 1 is moving. Fluid 1 is moving. In the outside, fluid 2 is moving. Now we will write the thermal network for this problem. One thermal resistance from the fluid 1 and another thermal resistance by the pipe, that is conduction. Another thermal resistance is created by the fluid 2. So what I can write here? R convection 1, this is R conduction and this is R convection 2. R convection 1 is what? 1 over H into H1 into A1, because here is the H1 T infinity 1, here is H2 T infinity 2. T infinity 1 and T infinity 2 are not the same. They are different temperatures. Next, R conduction 1, this is the cylinder. So ln outer radius by inner radius divided by 2 pi length into thermal conductivity of the pipe, thermal conductivity of the wall or pipe. And R convection is 1 over H2 A2. A2 are, this is the inner, A2. A2 means A naught, outer radius, R naught, outer radius. Now sigma RTH, what will happen? Sigma RTH means sum of all this one. Sum of all this one becomes sigma RTH. And we know that what is the equation? Q is equals to delta T by sigma RTH. R Q is equals to UA into delta T. Now you compare these two equations. Comparing these two equations, So the delta T will be going to cancel. I will write U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. U is equals to 1 over A into sigma RTH. 1 over A into sigma RTH. Suppose here there are two overall heat transfer becomes inside overall heat transfer coefficient, inner surface inside of the pipe overall heat transfer coefficient, and U naught outside the overall heat transfer coefficient U naught. Suppose if you're taking for the UI, this A becomes what? 1 over AI sigma RTH. Okay. Suppose if you take outer radius, this A become 1 over A naught sigma RTH. Sigma RTH. Okay, this both equation is available in the data handbook. The procedure is the same thing. This is it is comes under convection. In convection, not sorry, it comes in the heat exchanger. In the heat exchanger, you go to the corresponding page number 151. In 151, here you can see that for the parallel flow, right now we are going to deriving this equation only, parallel flow and counter flow by LMTD. Here you can see that the page number 156 in my 6th edition heat transfer data handbook. Here you can see that. Okay. Here they given 1 over U naught and 1 over UI. There is no problem. Both are the same thing. Suppose if you take UI substituting the sigma RTH, what are things will be there if you substitute here. After simplification, you will get these terms. Okay. 1 over, but here they take on 1 over U naught and 1 over UI. For solving the problems, you take in this manner only. Later, after find outing 1 over U naught, then you have to be find out once again what is the U naught. Here 1 over U naught is there. Substitute the values, find out what is the 1 over U naught and answer. Later, once again you find out what is the U naught. Okay. Here RF naught and RFI is given. RF naught and RFI. This R is nothing but the fouling factor. Fouling factor means, now you consider this is the heat exchanger. Because of continuously movement of the fluid, because of transferring the heat from here to here, some foreign particles, like if it is the water is passing over here, or in the time what will happen, some salt or some scales will be formed over the surfaces. Suppose this is suppose just you consider this pipe. I'm going to writing here. Above this one, what will happen? Because of continuously movement of the fluids after a long operations, after certain operation, the scales formation will be takes place over the surfaces. This is actually copper tube, copper pipe, copper surface. Above that one, some scales will be formation takes place. It may be takes place outside the tube, or it may be takes place inside the tube, or both the sides, inside as well as the outside. What will happen when this scale formation takes place? That reduces the heat transfer. Okay, that's what is that one you're going to call as the fouling. That phenomena you're going to call as the fouling. If you consider that factor also, that is going to call as the fouling factor, that is denoted by RF. RF naught means here outside the pipe, that is the fouling factor should be taken outside the pipe, outside the inner pipe. If it is the RFI, fouling factor at the inside of the inner pipe. Okay, fouling means that is the phenomenon because of continuously movement of the fluid after certain operation or certain period of time. Some scales formation will be takes place over the surfaces of the tube. It may be inner surface or the outer surface, or both of the inner and the outer surfaces. What the scales, what the rust formation, what are the foreign particles that is placed over the tube that reduces the heat transfer. That phenomenon is going to call as the fouling. That effect, if you consider that one, you're going to call as the fouling factor. That is what RF naught and RFI. RF naught is the outside of the inner pipe, RFI is the inside of the inner pipe. Just now we discussed what is meant by the heat exchanger, and later what is meant by the classification, the overall heat transfer coefficient, the UI overall heat transfer coefficient inside the inner pipe. U naught is the overall heat transfer coefficient outside the outside of the inner pipe. UI and U naught we will discuss. Those UI and U naught is available in the data handbook. There is no need to buy at the equation. Directly we can be taken from the data handbook. Later we will solve the derivation, that is what LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference for parallel flow heat exchanger. Now we will do the first derivation, that is LMTD for parallel flow heat exchanger. LMTD means logarithmic mean temperature difference. For that one I will write the sketch. There are two concentric tubes will be there. You consider this is the inner pipe, and this is the outer pipe. Outer pipe Now you consider the fluid is moving. Here is the fluid 1, and the fluid is moving from the same thing. Just you consider the fluid is moving. Here is the hot fluid. Okay, for the hot fluid I'm going to mention as THI, and from here the cold fluid is entering, cold fluid, that is what TCI. THI means hot fluid entering, TCI means cold fluid is entering. Parallel flow heat exchanger means, already explained, both hot fluid as well as the cold fluid are moving in the same direction. The THI is the hot fluid entering, TH0 is the hot fluid leaving out from the heat exchanger. Then this cold fluid will be moved over the inside pipe. Finally it comes this one. This is the cold fluid outlet. Okay, totally 4 temperature: hot fluid inlet, hot fluid outlet, cold fluid inlet, cold fluid outlet temperature. And m dot h represents mass flow rate of the hot fluid, and m dot c represents the cold fluid mass flow rate. M dot c means mass flow rate of the cold fluid, m dot h means mass flow rate of the hot fluid. Totally how many temperatures? There are 4 temperatures will be obtained. 2 temperatures for the hot fluid and 2 temperatures for the cold fluid. When the hot fluid is moving at every section, when it is moving at every point, what is happening? Its temperature is gone decreasing. When the hot fluid is moving from this location to this location, suppose if it is a 100 degrees centigrade, it may come at a 60 degrees centigrade outlet. At every point the hot water temperature is gone reducing. In the same way, come to the cold fluid. At every section the temperature of the cold fluid is gone increasing. Suppose at the entering it may be at 10 degrees centigrade, but at leaving the cold fluid temperature may be at 30 degrees centigrade. There is a gain of 20 degrees centigrade compared to the inlet. It means the hard fluid is loses its energy, but cold fluid is gaining its energy. Now the same thing I will expression on the graph. Just you consider this is from 0 to A, means come to this complete area, from one section to the this area. Complete area means along this direction. A means area, and the y-axis represents the temperature. THI is the highest temperature among the 4 temperatures. So I represents THI here because this is the temperature axis, temperature in the y-axis. THI is the highest temperature, so I mark the highest value here. In out of 4 temperature, the least temperature is the TCI. I represent here as the TCI. And At this section only, both the fluids are entering here. THI is also entering at this section and TCI is also entering at this section. This is the exit. This is the exit. What about the heart fluid? At every section, heart fluid temperature is gone decreasing. Finally, this is what TH naught, and the TCI, the about the cold fluid. At every section, the temperature of the cold fluid is gone increasing. Okay. This is TH naught. This is TC naught. Okay. TH naught is not equal to TH naught is not equal to TC naught. If TH naught is equals to TC naught, this is for infinite length of the pipe. Infinite length of the pipe. If it is a pipe is infinite, then only the TH naught is equals to TC naught. This is the one condition. Okay. M dot is the mass flow rate of hot water and M dot C is the cold mass flow rate of cold fluid. In that one, for derivation, I will consider one small elemental area, delta Q, small elemental area. This is the small elemental area, what, dA, delta Q, and this is the temperature difference, delta T. This is the hot water temperature, TH. TC is the cold water temperature, and this difference I will take. And I will going to call as DTH, temperature difference of the hot fluid, and this temperature I will take here. This one I will call it as DTC, cold temperature difference. See, this is the temperature difference. DTH means this minus this one, this final point minus initial point. While doing this one, you will get the negative sign. Because lesser value minus higher value, you will get is the minus the some quantity. So that's why this is the minus. In the same way, the difference of this one and this one is the positive quantity here, plus DTC. Okay, this is very important for the considering the derivation. Whole derivation is depend upon the sign. For the parallel flow, this is minus, because if you take the temperature difference, you will get the negative. While you're taking this temperature difference, this is the highest value and lowest value. Highest value minus lowest value, you will get the positive answer. Suppose if it is the lowest value minus highest value, you will get the negative answer. That is the things written here. Now the complete the sketch is over. Parallel flow means both cold fluid and hot fluid are moving in the same direction. Now we will start do the derivation. The rate of heat transfer from the hot fluid. The rate of heat transfer from the hot fluid, if you taken as the small elemental element dA, in that dA, the rate of heat transfer taken by the hot fluid is given by delta Q is equals to minus m dot h cph dth. Minus is because this negative sign. Also, this negative sign indicates the heat is moving away from the body. According to the thermodynamics. If heat is moving away from the system, that should be taken as the negative sign here. In the same way, the rate of heat transfer from the cold fluid can be written as same thing, delta Q is equals to m dot h cph plus dtc. Now you call this is equation 1 and 2. The temperature difference between hot and cold fluid is given by delta T. Delta T is equals to TH minus TC. The temperature difference between the hot and cold fluid is given by TH minus TC. Call that equation 3. Now you do the differentiation. By doing the differentiation, d of delta T dTH minus dTC. dTH minus dTC. But what is the equation 1? Equation 1 is delta Q minus m dot h cph dth. Suppose you can write it likewise. dth is equals to del q divided by minus del q divided by m dot h cph. See, this is the equation we obtained. Now you have to for in place of dth, the equation 1 has to be right likewise. The equation 1 you can write dth is equals to minus delta q m dot h cph, call that equation 5. In the same way, the dtc can be written as, you send this term to the in the denominator. So what will happen? This is positive. Delta dtc is equals to del q divided by m dot c cpc. cpc means specific heat of cold water, specific heat of hot water. cp, already you know that specific heat. H means hot water. Wherever the suffix h represents the hot water, suffix c represents the cold water. Now you call this is equation 6. Now what you have to do? Substitute the equation 5 and 6 in equation 4 here. Substitute this 5 and 6 in equation 4. d of delta t is equals to minus del q m dot h cph minus del q m dot c cpc. Take minus del q is the common factor, so you obtain this equation. But we know that one delta q is equals to overall heat transfer coefficient u into delta t dA. Now what you have to do? This u into delta t dA substitute here. Therefore, this equation becomes d delta t minus u into delta t dA. The same terms you are going to written here. Next, what you have to do? Just rearrangement. You send delta t to the denominator, send to denominator here. So you obtained as d delta t by delta t minus u dA and this constant, this terms. Next, what you have to do? Integrate this above equation. Integrate the above equation. Delta by integrating here you can see that the temperature difference is what? Here one more things I have to represent here. I forgotten that one. This difference you're going to call as the delta T2. Delta T2 means TH naught minus TC naught. Delta T2 means TH naught minus TC naught. Later, this difference you're going to call as the delta T1. Delta T1 is what? THI minus TCI is going to call as the delta T1. Delta T1 is equals to THI minus TCI. Integrating from the temperature means from delta T1 to delta T2. The same limits are taken here. Integration from delta T1 to delta T2 and integration from 0 to A. From 0 to A over the area dA. Now do the integration. Integration of this one is what? 1 over delta t is ln delta t. 1 over x is what? Ln x. By substituting the limits, you will get it as the ln delta t2 divided by delta t1. Integration of dA is, integration of 0 to A dA is A. That one I written. This is the constant term, so in the same way I substitute here. And also from the rate of heat transfer for the hot fluid is given by another equation will be there. The same equation, that is what? Q is equals to m dot h cph. The heat transfer takes place between THI minus TH naught. Q is equals to m dot h cph, hot water inlet minus hot water outlet. These things we studied in the thermodynamics. Suppose this equation we can also written as, just take m dot h cph in the right hand side, send this term to here. What will happen? Q divided by THI minus TH naught, you call that equation 8. Same heat transfer for the cold fluid is given by m dot c cpc, temperature difference between the cold fluid, that is TC naught minus TCI. In the same way, once again m dot c cpc you take in the left hand side, remaining terms you send here, that will becomes the denominator. I obtained this is equation 9. Then what you have to do? You have to substitute this equation 8 and equation 9 in the equation 7. You substitute this value to here and this value to here. So the equation becomes like that. I substituted this term to here, this is to here, so the final equation becomes like that. Ln delta T2 by delta T1 minus UA THI minus TH naught by Q plus TC naught minus TSI by Q. Here Q is the common factor, so you take it outside from here, minus UA by Q. Now I'll rearrange the terms. THI minus TCI minus TH naught minus TC naught. Suppose if you multiply this one, minus into minus plus TC naught. Just I did the rearranging these terms to obtain what? What is this? THI minus TCI represent what? THI minus TCI represent here. THI minus TCI represents delta T1. TH naught minus TC naught represents delta T2. To obtain that one, I rearrange this term. Now I am writing that one. THI minus TCI is what? Delta T1, and TH naught minus TC naught is delta T2. Now the next. Here negative sign will be there. Suppose if you send to negative to positive, convert negative to positive, this becomes this delta T1 goes to the numerator, ln delta T1 divided by delta T2, UA by Q delta T1 minus delta T2, or Q is equals to UA delta T1 minus delta T2 divided by ln delta T1 by delta T2. Now completely this one you're going to call as the log, because ln is there, logarithmic mean temperature difference. That one you can also written as like that. Q is equals to UA delta T LM. Delta T LM means logarithmic mean temperature difference. This equation is for what? Parallel flow heat exchanger. That's why I call it written as the parallel flow. Delta T LM parallel flow means what? Delta T1 minus delta T2 divided by ln of delta T1 by delta T2. What is delta T1? Delta T1 is, what is delta T1 for parallel heat exchanger? Delta T1 for parallel heat exchanger is THI minus TCI. Delta T2 means TH naught minus TC naught. Okay, later we will solve the problems using this equation. The same derivation, now we'll go for the LMTD for counterflow. LMTD for counterflow heat exchanger. See, for this one, once you learn the first derivation, the remaining 4 derivation is completely easy. First we will write the sketch. This is the inner pipe, this is the outer pipe. Now consider the hot fluid. In the inner pipe, hot fluid is moving, that is TH naught, and from this and the same hot fluid is coming at the temperature of TH naught. Counterflow, the name itself indicates the fluid 1 and fluid 2, the hot fluid and cold fluid are moving in the opposite direction. So the cold fluid is entering here, that is TCI, and the TCI, and this is the TC naught. Counterflow means both the fluids are moving in the opposite direction. The hot fluid and cold fluid are moving in the opposite direction. If it is hot fluid is moving from left to the right, the cold fluid is moving from right to the left. The inlet cold fluid is going to call as the TCI. The outlet cold fluid is going to call as the TC naught. The same thing. The abbreviations are the same thing for both all the heat exchangers and the other 2 derivations also. Now in the same way, we'll write the temperature. This is along the distance, along the area of the heat exchanger, 0 to area up to this point. At this section, the hot fluid is entering. Of course, out of these 4 temperature, 1, 2, 3, 4 temperature, THI is the highest temperature, so I represent the THI here. And the same way the TCI is the lowest temperature, I will represent the TCI. When the hot fluid is moving along this pipe, along this inside pipe, at every section its temperature is gone reducing, so I obtain this is what TH naught. TH naught. In the same way for the cold fluid, when it's cold fluid along the movement, at every section the temperature of the cold fluid is gone increasing. The temperature is gone increasing. This is the TC naught. Okay, this temperature difference is going to call as the delta T1. See, delta T1 means here in the counter flow what it is, THI minus TC naught, but for the parallel flow, THI minus TCI. Okay, keep it in mind, delta T1 for the parallel flow is THI minus TCI, but for the counter flow, THI minus TC naught. And this temperature difference I will going to call as delta T2. Delta T2 means what? TH naught minus TCI. This is THI minus TC naught. This is the m dot h. Hot fluid is moving from this direction, from right to the left, and this is m dot c, and this is the TC, and this is the TH. Once again, you consider the small elemental area. Small elemental area dA. In that one, the rate of heat transfer takes place. That is what? Delta Q. Now, this difference is what? DTH. This difference what? DTC. This difference is DTH, this difference is DTC. Once again, the T2 minus T1, this is the lowest value and this is the highest value. Lowest value minus highest value is what happens? Minus DTH. In the same way, here also, this is the lowest value, this is the highest value. Lowest value minus highest value, look at the negative sign. See, this is very, very important for the sign convection. Very, very important. Only this sign convection will be changes. Here is what? This is the negative here, this is the positive, but here both are the negative. For the counter flow, both are the negative. Once you write this one, the remaining thing is completely easy. Just what the things I did in the last derivation, the same derivation I will shown here, how to do the manipulation. The same way, the rate of heat transfer from the hot fluid is given by the same equation. Minus is because of what? The minus is, this is the minus delta TH. For the cold fluid, m dot c, CPC, DTC, this is the negative. Minus comes here. The same derivation, just I doing the manipulation, that's all. This will be the same thing. Temperature difference between the hot and cold fluid, TH minus TC. Differentiating the above equation, DTH minus DTC. But DTH for this equation is what? Minus del Q divided by m dot H CPH. DTC can be written as, here it is the what? That is the negative here. I am doing just the same thing I am going to telling how to obtain the equation for the counter flow. Wherever the negative sign will be there, just you convert it into a positive sign. This becomes the positive. When you go to take the common as the negative, this becomes the negative. Okay. This is the negative, this is the negative, this is negative, and this is the negative. Substitute the things, the same thing. What will happen? This becomes the negative. When comes here, I will write this one, only this part. I will take on the Q the common factor. What the terms is left it is here, THI minus TH naught minus into TC naught minus into minus plus TCI. Now I will rearrange this one, THI minus TC naught Thi minus Tc naught minus Th naught minus Tci, minus into minus plus Tci. Now Thi minus Tc naught is what in the counterflow heat exchanger? Thi minus Tc naught is delta T1. For Th naught minus Tci is what? Th naught minus Tci is delta T2. Delta T2. So this is the equation. This is the equation is for both for the laminar as well as for the counterflow. The same equation you will obtain for both laminar and counterflow. But laminar flow delta T1 is what? Delta T1 is Thi minus Tci. Delta T2 is Th naught minus Tc naught. This is for what? Parallel flow heat exchanger. Suppose if it is the counterflow heat exchanger, delta T1 is what? The equation will be the same thing. You are using this equation for same for both parallel flow and counterflow, but only the delta T1 will be the delta T1 and delta 2 will be the varies. Counterflow heat exchanger, delta T1 is what? Thi minus Tc naught, and delta T2 is Th naught minus Tci. Okay, these things you should be know properly while solving the problem. So by learning one derivation, the second derivation is completely easy, just by what? By changing the sign. Both becomes the negative wherever the these are the things, what the things I shown here, the negative values, negative will be changes. The same thing will be do in complete derivation. So in the remaining two derivation, we will take the terms from the middle of the derivation. From in the next derivation, somewhere from here, somewhere from this point, you take the up to here will be the same thing. From somewhere here we will continue the derivation for the remaining third and fourth derivation. So learning one derivation, the remaining four derivation is completely easy, and that is commonly asked in the examination, very important for the examination. So the students must be learn all the four derivations, along with that one, heat exchanger definition, classification, and what is meant by the fouling. What is meant by the fouling phenomenon? These are the questions asked in the examination. So here the theory part is over. In the next video lecture I will explain the problems on the LMTD.